I keep seeing videos of people saying like how they regret their vote, and if they could go back, they would change their vote, or they wouldn't vote, or blah, 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 right? Y'all don't regret your vote. You regret that those hateful things that you wished upon other people are now affecting you when you didn't know they would. So I don't feel bad for you. You're getting exactly what's coming for you, and I hope you enjoy these next 4 years.
I didn't care how things were affecting others until it affected me. Am I proud of that? No. We live in a very cruel world, and sometimes the only way to survive is by being selfish. We are all just out here trying to survive as best we can. And although we may have good intentions and we may be empathetic and we may be compassionate, we will always put ourselves first because we have to survive. And if that means making a mistake in my vote or maybe putting my trust in the wrong person like I did, then that's what it means. I will always put the betterment of my family and vote in ways that I think will help my family above anyone else.
Here's the problem with voting for your self-interest. I understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you're on the bottom and none of your needs are fulfilled, you can only think of yourself. But here's the problem with that, is you voted for your self-interest. So did everybody else in the Republican Party. Think about that for a minute. You voted for your self-interest, but you don't have anything. Like, you don't have anything. Like, that's what it is. But other people, rich people, they have a lot. So, of course, they're going to vote for their self-interest because they have something. You don't. You need the tribe, right? The socialized healthcare, the socialized dental care, schools, firefighters, police officers, all socialized systems. Is it clicking yet? You voted against the tribe. You know, humans didn't make it on their own. We always existed in a tribe, taking care of each other. You could only take care of yourself if you have something, and you don't have shit.
Another episode of Fuck Around and Find Out.
Took my wife.
This man who wished not to be identified says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only 1 minute and 52 seconds long, we do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything good. He just came in and snatched her.
These are pictures.
Let's be honest, MAGA supporters, Trump supporters, especially the ones that are saying that they're leaving the party now. You wanted all these things to happen. You wanted it all to happen. You just wanted it to happen to someone else. You thought that you wouldn't be touched by all the horrible things that Donald Trump is doing to other people. You thought you and your family were the exception to the rule. You thought that he was only going to go after criminals. When we all told you, he was going to go after anybody and everybody that doesn't look white. We warned you. And you guys went and voted for him anyways. We told you about Project 2025. We told you about all the horrible things that he was going to do and attack LGBTQ plus community, women's rights, different ethnicities. We told you he was going to do all these things, and you thought, you know what? That won't happen to me. It won't affect me. But you had no problem it happening to somebody else. And until you admit that to yourself, you will always be part of the problem. All my love.
Hey y'all, good morning. You know how we keep hearing those MAGA regret stories? Well, I came across one last night that tickled me. Listen, so this man, he has a brother, and his brother has over $100,000 in student loan debt. But his parents are diehard MAGA. They voted for syphilitic Sid, not once, not twice, but all 3 times, y'all. 3 times. Anywho, now, the Supreme Court, you know what we're talking about. We're not talking about like Ketanji and Sonia. We ain't talking about them. We're talking about them other people. You know, them people on the right. Them, that Supreme Court. You know how they ruled that student loan forgiveness was unconstitutional. Well, now they are having a complete meltdown because their son has to pay that money back. Then, when he confronted his parents about it, the dad said, well, he just wasn't smart enough to understand what all that meant. Yeah, because remember the other day I told you that Sid said smart people don't like him. Now, that student loan forgiveness is gone, and they have to pay back the student loan. Now the daddy's mad because they ain't got it. Okay. I don't understand how the people do the research after the test. But, okay. Y'all have a good day.
Welcome back to my channel again. It's Anthony. It's nice having you here, and I'm really enjoying the evening. It's amazing. So I was a MAGA voter, and I regret my vote because I didn't think that Trump policies would affect me, my livelihood, my family, my farm, my grocery prices, my small business, my workers in the farm. I didn't think so. It would affect my Medicare. It would affect my veteran welfare. I didn't think it would do so. So really forgive me. Forgive you for what? So let's make our conclusion at the end of these videos. Let's continue watching, and it's really amazing not to see people cry or regret their vote, but seeing many Americans seeing the light and seeing who Trump is. Even though it's too late, I think perhaps it will set a good precedent in the next year midterm elections. So let's continue watching.
Have any of you also been seeing the videos from those who voted for Donald Trump being confused about the potential of the US's involvement in the war against Iran? Because, as many of you are aware, he has repeatedly said he is the anti-war president, that he does not believe in going to war. So many of you are experiencing some level of cognitive dissonance around this topic, because how can your favorite president, who claims to be so anti-war, be considering very strongly going to war against Iran in support of Israel? This has many people really baffled, and this is not the first time we have seen this since January. I want you to embrace this level of disappointment in your president for promising something and delivering something else. And I want you to consider what other areas he has done this in and how he will continue to do this, because he doesn't stand for anything. He tells you exactly what you want to hear in order to vote for him, and then he does whatever he wants.
I didn't know anything about Trump's policies. I just voted for him. Nah, MAGA, you can't get away with that with me, right? Because you were too loud before the election about how it was going to make the country better. So when you hear MAGA say things like that, you know what that is? That's somebody that's a coward. They're afraid to stand up and align themselves visually, right? For everybody to know, with all the crappy shit you see happening right now, they know it doesn't look good, but they don't have the backbone to still align themselves with it. So now it becomes, I didn't know no better. You knew enough to be loud about it before the election, so I know enough about it to keep calling you out on it now. Stop making these people feel comfortable. The problem is people like MAGA folk who go all in on stuff like that, and then when it gets really, really bad, they want to act like, well, I didn't know any better. You're not a child. You're a grown-ass adult. You're not a child. So I'm not going to treat you like one. And what do conservatives always talk about? Personal responsibility. And that's what I expect you to have too. But I'm not going to let any MAGA get away with, I didn't know. Well, you should have known, or you should have stayed your ass at home.
After the past 3 tragic mass unalivings in the United States, I've noticed the Trump administration has been suspiciously quiet. Remember when they were calling for a civil war after Charlie Kirk lost his life? Take a look at how Caroline Leavitt and J.D. Vance are responding to these past 3 events.
What we know at this point in time is that he was a member of this Michigan community, that he is a veteran of our United States Armed Forces. He served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq. His family is cooperating with the FBI, and so they are currently...
That is a very strange response coming from Caroline Leavitt. It's almost like she's trying to praise this guy or something. And JD Vance said, just an awful situation in Michigan. FBI is on the scene and the entire administration is monitoring things. Say prayer for the victims and the first responders. I wonder if their massively different responses could stem from the fact that this guy was a big Trump supporter. Here we can see a picture of him wearing a Make Liberals Cry Again t-shirt, Trump 2020. Notice what's missing from the situation here. When the mass unaliving fits their narrative, they start screaming about political ideology. They blame Antifa, the Democrats, the left-wing narrative, but when the suspect is a Trump supporter, suddenly there's no mention of political affiliation at all, just thoughts and prayers, and this is such a tragedy. When Charlie Kirk lost his life, they did not wait for the facts to come out at all. They instantly started blaming the Democrats and even called for a civil war before the guy who did it was caught. All these people care about is politicizing every single tragedy they possibly can. They don't care about saving people's lives at all.
MAGA Republicans, those are the people I don't want to share the party with.
Last question, Pumps. So when you start meeting with your constituents and doing all the things that you're doing, are you seeing working people in Maine that feel like that if they voted for Donald Trump the first time, that they've realized now he is not doing what he said he was going to do? My economics are worse.
So, I mean, like in Eastern Maine, our healthcare system is falling apart right now. And not in some like academic sense, but it's actually materially beginning to fail. We have hospitals that are going to be closing because of the Medicaid and Medicare cuts, and they were already holding on by a shoestring because, frankly, for-profit healthcare in rural Maine does not work. The Trump tariffs have driven prices up for everybody across the board. I have friends of mine who voted for Donald Trump 3 times, who every single time I talk to them now tell me about how Trump is destroying the country because they're all builders and they have watched their costs go up 30-40%. And the people they buy materials from are telling them it's because of tariff uncertainty that the prices are this high. As material conditions deteriorate for working people, we as Democrats need to be armed with policies that can be cogently and easily explained as to why they're going to improve people's material lives. And we need to be relentless about those policies and relentless about messaging on that, and frankly, that alone. There are a lot of Republican voters in Eastern Maine who I'm friends with, who I know would absolutely vote for me as long as I stick to the idea of taxing the rich and using it to protect healthcare, using it to protect housing and bringing housing costs down, using it to expand Social Security. They all agree with these things. And many of the reasons that they've walked away from the Democratic Party is the Democratic Party stopped fighting for those things. But we need to, again, be the party that fights for that stuff. And I think if we do, working people in this country have the exact same material needs, regardless of who they voted for. And we need to be ready with open arms to bring a lot of people back who are going to realize that as working people, Donald Trump and right-wing populism do not have the answers for them. And we need to be there with the answers.
I'm all in. I want to vote for you today, right now. Tell our viewers and listeners how they can find you and donate to your campaign. And I just want to tell our viewers and listeners, I have donated as a resident of Oklahoma. I have donated to politicians in states that can make a difference, like Graham's race against Susan Collins, because it can have the biggest impact nationwide. So even if you live in some red state somewhere, this man can help your state by not normalizing the erosion of civil liberties that Susan Collins always and consistently votes for with her Supreme Court picks and all the fuckery with all the MAGA stuff with Trump. So tell our viewers and listeners how they can find you.
This black MAGA supporter is in her F around and find out era. She's in her F around and find out era. So she, during the election took to her TikTok and her social media page basically to troll, show that she was, voting for Trump. In my opinion, her content definitely gave troll. It gave very much, I'm not going to vote for Kamala just because she's black. It gave, I'm just doing against what everybody is telling me to do. It didn't give, I did my research, because if you did your research, you would not have voted against your own interests. But nonetheless, she's now in her F around and find out era because she wants the black community's help. Why does she want the 92%'s help? Because her son is currently in jail, facing 21 years. Why is he facing 21 years? He's been charged with manslaughter. Apparently, he got into some type of altercation, and he shot and killed a man in self-defense. And the judge will not allow them to use, or allow his attorneys to use the stand your ground defense. They're saying it wasn't stand your ground, and now she's saying that this is racial injustice, and she needs help getting the word out and getting justice for her son. Ask your friends over there at MAGA. Ask them. What are you asking us for? And I could bet you the judge that has, declined their defense of stand your ground, I bet he voted in the same way as you. I bet he voted in the same way as you. So don't come asking the 92% for help now when you were trolling us. When you wanted to, I bet you she was one of those people who said Kamala Harris put black men in jail, put innocent black men in jail. I bet she was one of those people. Thoughts and prayers.
Guys, it's literally happening. I'm going to show you what somebody just posted, and I want you to guess who posted it. Pause to read. If you guessed Amy Kremer, you would be correct. But if you're like most people like me, who the hell is Amy Kremer? She is the founder of Women for America First. And she hosted through that organization the Stop the Steal rally in Washington, D.C. that culminated in the January 6th attack on the Capitol by Trump supporters. Prior to that, in 2016, she ran 2 political action committees to help get Donald Trump elected. And prior to 2016, she was high up in the Tea Party movement. And she just posted that. And if you don't understand how important this is, let me enlighten you. She's about as deep as somebody can get within the MAGA cult. Additionally, she is a leader and conspiracy pusher within the MAGA cult. She is a power broker within the MAGA movement, and she just posted that. There you go.
Hello again, it's Anthony. We have reached the end of this video, and it was amazing having you here watching my videos. I highly appreciate you all, and as I usually say, if I had a present, I would give every one of you. So what you're watching is MAGA crash out in real time. Trump's policies are really affecting them in real life. As in, Trump has built nothing in his lifetime until he became the president for the second time. And why am I saying a president for the second time? I'll come to this later. Trump really went bankrupt 7 times in his career. So the whole idea of Trump was a good businessman is a fallacy. It's used to hoodwink MAGA Americans who don't do the research. So now they are suffering in real time. The only time that Trump has been able to make a name out of himself is during the second term, when he literally has made over $3 billion scamming people. How? Trump is using his family as a proxy. Trump says, I'm not involved in my businesses. But he has a hand when we were trying to make this Trump Tower. I don't know if it's in Dubai or where. And then there is this one in Scotland, this golf club in Scotland. There is this one in Panama, whereby they wanted to close it, but Trump wanted to invade Panama. So what Trump has been able to do is use government to enrich himself. And one of the reasons he couldn't do so in the first term, is because we had people in the government who could check him in real time. But now, we only have yes men. People who are only interested about the advancement of the Project 2025 more than the betterment of our living standards, Americans having affordable healthcare, Americans having the ability to operate their small businesses without the fear of overnight tariffs, because the tariffs have really destroyed our country, and it's a topic which we must keep on talking about. Because as Democrats, the only way to beat Trump is by focusing on how he has destroyed our economy, which is visible to everyone. Farmers want to be bailed out. Yes, and Biden offered them a solution in 2024, which they declined. And now Trump wants to bail them out with our money. With our money. Let's say you have a small business. You have a loan from the bank. And you borrow the loan to order some goods so that you can sell, repay the loan, and then you can keep the profits, or maybe continue with the process. So now your money is stuck. You can't buy because the goods are overpriced. What you wanted to buy. The whole idea of supporting small businesses in US is dead. In short, Trump has really killed the American dream, and Trump relies on these MAGA voters who he has defunded education in their states and whatever I don't know even if the school, don't get me wrong on that, but he has really tried to keep them oppressed mentally so that they cannot question anything he does.